In today's video, we're going to play with a very important color. This color comes from Art to Basic, and we worked together to create something really special. It is this little watercolor. It's a handmade watercolor, and this is the color. It's called Pink Clay. I worked with Met and we got to create together. It was so interesting, and I am so proud of this color because it took a little while. You know, I knew what I wanted in my head. She really didn't know, so we just kept adding and experimenting, and she molded the paint while we sat on Zoom talking. It was such a fantastic experience. So today what I want to do is see how this color plays with greens, because you know my love for leaves. So I even have a specimen ready to paint. So I'm going to put this away carefully and set it aside because I have another one already on my palette. On my palette, I have Schminky Tundra Green. I have Daniel Smith Green Apatite Genuine and Daniel Smith Serpentine Genuine. So I want to see what these three greens do with my pink clay. So the first thing we're going to do is just try the colors here and see what we can do. Then once I find one that I really love, I'm going to do the leaf here. So I'm going to get the leaf out of the way. And I want to start with the Schminky Tundra Green. Now this, if you don't know of Schminky, they have super granulating sets, and this is from the Tundra set. It was my favorite Tundra color, and I just really loved it because it's a super granulating color, and it has like a brownish, kind of like a raw sienna undertone to it, and I think it would go really lovely with the pink clay. At least that's what I'm thinking anyways. So I'm just going to leave a little mark here for Tundra Green, and I want to see what it does with the pink clay. You can see the green is taking over the clay, which is very pretty. It's chasing it down. I like that. The next one is the Daniel Smith Green Apatite Genuine. This is probably my favorite green that I always use, as this green apatite. I just like the darkness. That Schminky color has a dullness to it, which is great for leaves, but I like something a little brighter every now and then. Look at that. They're beautiful mixes so far. And the next one is Serpentine Green, Serpentine Genuine. Now this color is a little lighter. It's more like a yellow green. And it's been on my palette forever as well. I rarely use it like that, but I do use it to mix a lot. It's a little too yellow for my normal taste. Let's see what that does with pink clay. It's not as aggressive as the other two, as you can see. Touch a little more sepia here, or serpentine here. See if we can get it to move a little bit. Those are interesting. So I'm looking at what seems more pink now. What do I like better? Which pink do I like in the green? So this one seems a little bluer. This one seems like it really is still quite green, and this one seems like it's went to a little more gray because of the yellow, I think, in it. I really like the bluer color. So you know what? Let's try this. Let's make a blue and a yellow green. So I have French ultramarine here. And I have nickel azo. Let's see what those two do. I went it a little more on the blue side since I really like that schminky color. Okay, let's try that one. Can you see the blue undertone there? That's the French ultramarine. I'm liking that one. And I have an Indanthrone here. So let's use that blue as well and see what we can come up with. Indanthrone is a little brighter, a little heavier, more intense. So let's mix that with the azo yellow and see what we get. Oh, more like an olive green in there. That's pretty. A little more Indanthrone. That's intense. I like it though. Before I go any further, I do want to try just the Indanthrone by itself and see what happens to the pink clay. Since I really like the blue coloration. That is really intense, isn't it? But you never know unless you try. That's going to give some beautiful colors. I can already tell right there, a lot of grays. Okay, let me bring you up so you can see the colors. So the first one here is Tundra Green by Schminky. This is Daniel Smith Green Apatite Genuine, Daniel Smith Serpentine Genuine. This was French Ultramarine plus Nickel Azo Yellow. This was Indanthrone Blue plus Nickel Azo Yellow. And then this is just Indanthrone Blue by itself. I love that coloration. I'm going to think of something to do with that. That's very pretty. I like all the tones. I like the different colors that it's giving me, especially the middle colors here. So this is like a really pretty greenish pink. And I don't know that I've ever seen a tone like that. That's really gorgeous. I like this one in here. It's a little more on the, it seems a little more brown green here, but that's really pretty too. This yellow, I want you to see the Serpentine Genuine here. See how it's kind of separating over here? Isn't that really pretty? I think that would look really cool on moss in the woods because of how it's granulating there. This color, it's more like a very neutral color here, almost like a gray pink. That's really interesting. I thought I would have more granulation since I use the French Ultramarine too, and there isn't much. On the Indanthrone here, I like this coloration. I don't really care for it as it goes into the pink here, but I like where the pink has come into the green. I like that little bit. And this blue and pink is really, really pretty. I don't know what I will use that for, but maybe blueberries, because that would make a nice little coloration having that pink on there. I'm going to dry this and then we're going to start on the leaf. Okay, this is my Schminky green here, and then this is pink clay. So I'm just going to mix here, but I do know that I'm going to put a center leaf. Now, this is what the leaf looks like. So there's actually like a whole part missing, which is why I picked it up in the first place. But this half side over here, I want to be more pink. And then I want to add the green over here more, because I want to be able to see pink clay by itself, but then also touched into the green. I should have erased my lines. They're pretty dark. Just touching into some water. I'm going to touch a little into that Schminky green. I want to see how they mingle. I'm always about how do they mingle, how do they play. Just water here. I want to soften that edge while I'm playing around. Touch a little bit of that Schminky green in the corner here, get a little darker. Gonna splash. Okay, I want to start adding the Schminky over here. So I'm going to make a little puddle of the green and the pink together so that I can just grab it. I want to leave a little line here for the stem, not much. Isn't that nice seeing the two different colors? I really like that, and I like the darkness over here. Okay, let's add a little bit more pink clay and some water. Need to get some water on here. It's drying quite quick. I want this bottom to become quite dark with the Schminky. I think that'll make a nice contrast to the light pink side. just going to dip into some clay now and dot it in there. It's really beautiful. That didn't take long to do. Just gonna roll my brush right here. I got a lot of water sitting. Just blotting it on paper towel and kind of lifting the water. Okay, when I am using the super granulating color, which is the Schminky, you don't want to blow dry it because having the water kind of sit and play, I don't know if you can see this here, I'll bring this up, but it's kind of pulling the two colors out. Do you see that? There's like the green and then there's like that raw sienna color, and you can see it here and you can see it a little bit there. So when you're using a super granulating or a granulating color, it's best to just let it play in the water and mingle a while, because what happens is the pigment soaks down into the paper crevice, especially if you're using like cold or rough paper. It kind of sits in those little pockets in the paper. So if you were to blow dry that, what happens is the water evaporates too fast, and it doesn't allow the color to get trapped in there. So I want the color to get trapped in there. I'm trying to just be patient, which is not my best virtue here. But I'm absolutely loving the way that it's turning out. And I like the pink versus the kind of greenish brown that's come out. And it's just really beautiful to me. So when that is dry, I will be back and show you the results. Okay, this is what my leaf looks like, all dried. And then I went ahead and wrote the combination colors. And then at the bottom here, I wrote pink clay plus tundra green, just so that I would remember those are the colors that I used. But I want to show you the granulation on this side. And then I want to see if you can see the sparkle of pink clay. So let me see if I can move it around where you can see the little hint of glitter in there. There's a little shine right there. Can you see just a little bit? It's so faint, but it's lovely. But here is the granulation. Look at those colors together. I forgot to mention that the sketchbook that I'm using has Fabriano cold press watercolor paper in there. I believe it is 140 pound. I get the granulation because it is a cold press paper. I rarely use hot press paper because I like the granulation and I really like granulating colors. I hope by watching this exercise you've learned a new quick way to do some trial and error on colors to see what you like and how they mix. I liked seeing them run into one another. That was really helpful for me because it tells me right there what it's going to do over here. And that was nice to see beforehand so that I'm not in the middle of a project and like, oh my gosh, I got to move faster. So this is very helpful for that. And thanks for helping me explore my own color, pink clay. It was a pleasure bringing it to you, and thanks to Art to Basic, one of my dreams has come true. If you were inspired today, please like, comment, or subscribe. It will help my channel grow. Thank you for being here, and thanks for watching.